Hey there, friends, and welcome to my channel, Joy to the World. I am your reader, Melissa Joy. So, we are stepping into the week of the 13th to the 19th of August. And as you see, I'm in a new location, right? That bit of money that came in that was supposed to be for food that would have just fed me for a few days ended up being enough for gas to get me to my family and where there's going to be food for the whole week. It's pretty astounding. So anyways, how things come in one way and it becomes a whole different picture. And so with something like that, it was able to do what I couldn't do on my own. Really very powerful. And so we'll see what becomes of this week. But as you can tell, I am on some fresh water now. Okay, there's the little light. That's a buoy off in the distance. It might distract you, I don't know. But they're talking about a lot of rapid change coming in. Rapid change. And it could be, you see that opening in that window beyond, that where you've been going around, that you're approaching the exit of having been in that tunnel, or the dark night of the soul, as some people term it, because it's also coming up in our pearls. Look at that. Can you see? Because more than envy, this has to do with a lot of strife and having been like kind of maybe even frustrated or broken down in your own spirit with yourself of like, God, what am I doing wrong? How come I can't get out of here? I long for this other life, because you can tell the clothes are out of period. They're out of date. Maybe things have worn out on you and you're so tired of the way this has gone. Maybe it wasn't even yours to deal with in the first place and you got sucked in somehow. So rather than pulling down on that, we're going to focus on what your new vibration is, which has been there all along, but it's made its way forward and it's presenting itself. It's calling to you, okay? So hopefully these cards will illustrate that, because you see here, see that opening calling you out to where your real food, your real feast is, as opposed to the famine, as opposed to the wondering that has caused a lot of wandering around, trying to, is this it? Is this it? Is this me? Is this me? What happened? How did I lose myself? What has gone on with my life? And we've got the thinking man here, another internal chamber. Can you see that? Wow. Okay. Well, it's a good thing they had me bring, it's not the animal tarot, but I just call it that because it is. So moving through our instincts, going from just like curiosity, it's actually more like this. Moving from curiosity into our true knowledge, our true instinct, something calling you forward, as opposed to nosing around trying to see what this is, right? You're being moved forward into this new energy, which is wild because you can see in the back. We are, okay. We are in the year of the rabbit. If you're showing up calendarically, irregardless, these are timeless because they're seeds that get watered when you open them up. And there's a blue moon. Now this month, if you're showing up calendarically, we are having a blue moon. Right now, that full moon is waning, that full moon of Aquarius. And then I believe we're going to have would that be a full moon of Capricorn? I don't know, but this thing has been heavy, y'all, with the strange stuff that, I don't know, I was able to keep on the periphery and out of my life, and now it's getting kind of weird for a minute. But if we're going to move me forward into my truth, where my instinct is reconnected to where I thrive in my society, where I thrive inside myself is what I'm talking about, where all the pieces and parts feel like they belong, like there's nothing out of place, nothing struggling, the system becomes whole. Okay, well, seems like it might be a little bit of a deep dive, but these aren't the hugest deep divers, but compared to humans, yes. So let's get in here and see what's going on with that Four of Pentacles and the Two of Wands, because I see a red bird showing up, for whoever's wondering. It's really wild. Is there something really big on the horizon beyond the ways of this world? Because if you look here, the fox is not devouring the bunnies, right? They're known to devour bunnies or to devour the hen house. Something is making its way towards you, friend. And it's so small, it's almost imperceptible. But if you look, you feel the energy is what I would actually say here, because I can see off on the horizon these ripples making a V of something coming towards me, but what is making it cannot be seen, okay? So you may be feeling something coming your way and it's like, what is up, Joy? Lots of red birds showing up here, lots of ancestry type energy, and they're talking about a new valiant heart, a victor's heart, of feeling loved, feeling thankful, Using the power of praise could be some of it, because I'm still battling this crazy pains, and to make a 6-hour drive on this body, and I just stopped every hour and a half and I did some bathroom yoga, and I'm like, okay, I'll wait and breathe and be thankful for those spots that were kind of crunchy or weird, and just breathe and think, thank you, and they would smooth on out. Now you're thinking, Joy, what the heck is that? But that's what we're talking about here. Because when it smooths on out, you don't feel like gripped or grabbed or held by the old, by the blasé, by the karmic energy anymore. And that begins to open your eyes to turn around and see what's behind you. And all of them. Turn around. See what's behind you. Okay? See? She's starting to make the turn. He's considering the crystal, but it's right there behind him, all these options going on. But he's mulling it around by the crystal in his hand. Can you see how many prongs there are versus how many doors are behind him, right? And same here, the dragonfly being rerouted. You've come up, you've healed, and you're making your way forward, and the waterfall is there. So it's going along with this week's readings of the waterfalls of blessings. So we have the badger in the hen house. It's funny that I was talking about that hen house, and here it is. And it's not even addressing it, not even being stirred or moved by it. But, which they told me, turn around. So let me see. Hi. Look at that. Turn around and see what's behind me. And it's like turning towards the dawn of a new day, and maybe a day that has already begun and dawned, and you didn't know it because of all that old shizdizzery sitting around you. Maybe you're even so far deep inside, down in these tunnels, that like in the basement of yourself, that you didn't know. These are different layers of epiphany and aha, but in all of them, there's a door that is open. It doesn't even shut. This is a door into your nature, because there is no door. There's like a gateway. There's like an opening back to yourself, my friend. And apparently with them talking about the blue moon here, which is 2 full moons in 1 month, and that's occurring this month. And it doesn't happen very often. That's why they talk about a blue moon. Gosh, it's old knowledge if I'm correct. I think it's around 2.5 years or so, but it's been a minute. Sometimes it's a little more this way and a little more that, but you get what I'm saying. It doesn't come around all the time. So it's like this is a little window, gateway, and opening to move into your nature and past just what the world's ways. Because I know these are creatures, but what's so powerful about these cards is it gets us into the human condition, the human experience, without being caught up in people and trapped into attaching it to faces of those around us, okay? So it deals with the energy going on, and some of you may just be spinning and spiraling round and around one way and the other. It's wild. Maybe I'll get some of these for the meditation channel. But anyways, not having to go about and pilfer these things that the world says are going to prosper you. You see? You're up above that, and your heart is calling you into a new form of victory. There's a bit of some Venus energy on the horizon for some, of like aha moments of the retrograde going on, people trying to step in and be like, hey, I'm back, you know, and trying to play off of old news. That's making me think of this card. It's like, that is not the glory. It's more of this type energy. It's kind of like if you end up dating or marrying somebody who cheated to be with you, it could be a cycle. Do you see what I'm saying? So Venus retrograde often carries a bit of that type of nuance, that type of energy. But there's also Mercury showing up for some. So a new communication coming in. I know we've got the new retrograde coming in, and maybe that's the turnaround. It's making me think of those little kids' cars that you go and you pull it back and you let go, and it moves forward. So a bit of these last weeks, and maybe the last 4 weeks with this moon, 2 weeks, would feel like, oh my God, I'm spinning out. I'm spinning around. What is going on? This is horrible. And it feels like kind of the condensed story version of what's been happening for a while. And you've been wondering. And it's saying it's about to launch and move forward. But that's what this thinking man is here. It's asking your consideration, to take into consideration your permission. Your permission to have a life that is, let me just put the stigmatizing terms, if you've been in turmoil, footloose and fancy free. And it could be like, Well, I wish my life were footless and fancy free. Believe me, I get it. Woo. But it's being able to take notice of those little things and know that there's something bigger calling you. Just like this Badger card is resonating, that's what's going on here. Is there something calling you to step through that perceived limitation? Can you see it going on here? And there's Mercury being heightened again of the call. And this is going to resonate with your heart. Can you see your heart lighting up? This isn't some woo-woo, woo-woo, airy-fairy, fake promise in the clouds. Like, head games type stuff. This is the real deal, because this is from you and nature. Okay? There is an open door for you, my friend. And it's ready for you. It is positioned. This is almost like what the world looks like when you step through here. Can you see? Like that? Okay. Now remember, Dragonfly Spirit has been around for a few weeks now, trying to devour that pestilence, that old mindset of this, like the envy or the strife, right? Saying, I wish I could have that life. I wish I could have that life. I wish I could have that life. I wish it were that easy for me. I wish such and such and so and so. And they're like, don't wish, ask. Because that wish is like a flat wish. It's like a rhetorical question, or cynicism is attached to it, which, hey friend, after everything you've been through. But when we ask it genuinely, we will get a genuine answer. But when we're asking the other way, it's like, I'm not going to talk to you when you're talking to me like that. It's like, well, what's happening out here? Tried to send a message. The boss's daughter wrote me asking me, could I come over? And the message won't go out. It says failure to send, failure to send. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you're in cynicism, it doesn't connect you to the full cycle. It is a disconnect. That's what the wound is. The Chiron wound, this is the message that they're bringing in. Thank you, Spirit. The Chiron wound is the baker's home having no bread, the cobbler's kids having no shoes, okay? It's being locked out of your own gifting. And I had so many people tell me on the last leg of this journey, like the last 7-8 years, it's like, oh, well, you'll always have that suffering and that pain and that whatever. That's the healer's curse. That's how you heal. You go through it and you learn and you gain wisdom, and that's what you help people through. Whether you're a body worker, whether you're a life coach, or whether you're a counselor or a therapist or whatever. And I was like, I wasn't just being defensive. Something in my spirit, rose up a flag and was like, block that. No, not the person. Block that thinking. It was counterintuitive. It just it didn't speak to me. And so I've been stuck kind of in this world's ways of staying there. It's like, well, if that's the way it is, what is beyond that? What is beyond that way of thinking? Because that's all that person was doing, was expressing the world's ways and the ways of thinking. But that's not your food. We're talking about spiritual food coming in here for you. The badge is a pilfer in his hands, okay? But that's what's on the horizon, because the female line is the one who brings the food back to all. So apparently you're a leader, because you've been through a lot for the sake of the all. And you're like, there is no all. I feel like I'm the only one and left out. That's a leader. And if they're rerouting us, getting us to turn around, there's a phrase they use in my heart and encouraging me a lot, is you need to root down to rise up. Now, let's see, I've got the cards everywhere, but hang on. I don't know if you can see the base of that tree. It's about 18 feet across when you're here in person. And that's a lot of energy and breath, and we could get caught in that, not knowing up from down or which way to go. Because if society is counterintuitive, think about the clock. It moves clockwise. Do you know what direction our earth spins? Counterclockwise, okay? So if we're the salmon swimming upstream, doing it the hard way, living off of old news, being stuck in those difficulties and heart issues and emotional struggles and learning as we grow, that's painful, y'all. We're here to experience. Experience is when we have a dynamic retrospect all along that bypasses the human language. It gets into our knowledge of self, which is very much what she's picking up on, and that deep abiding thing that is pulling you forward. So that's where it's talking about the rooting down to rise up. So we could look at these past weeks, months, years of rooting down. And if your root is that deep, my friend, Can you imagine the chute? So as you move up like that car, get ready to rocket shoot up through the atmosphere into the world of light, into the world of delight, of your truth, where you begin to see the flowers blooming and budding on the tree. The bees are showing up to pollinate it, because you're like, how could I hand pollinate all this? That's utterly exhausting. And that's almost a new form of hell, okay? A new form of difficulty and challenge, because apparently there's a good part of you that has been spent and exhausted through this last transition. So thank you for coming through the karma, and probably not just yours, more than likely family karma. Illicit things that never should have happened to you, that sort of stuff, that like having to work through the muck, the goo, the mire. But of course we've seen, where's the card at? Yeah, dragonfly. We see the lotus here. We see several of them, okay? So that can go to be like karmic attachments in the family line, and nobody else really there to connect with. Maybe you loved them and got along, but maybe they weren't doing the work and it didn't seem to bother them, and you would think, what is wrong with me? Well, I love that Badger is bringing in that amazing heart, that victorious heart, that epiphany heart that goes, okay, I just know this is the way I'm supposed to go, because that is all that matters. And that's what it's talking about in that form of leadership. The others is just going to show up as you naturally are following where you're being drawn to, your instinct. Okay, let's see. Maybe if I get closer to here, we got some light. Okay. Your instinct, it's going to take you to where you belong. Wow. There's an old song, love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on mountains high. Like that. No more down in the dens, curiosity, distraction, because this seems to be more the pulse of you, all right? And not so much following the moon, because the moon has no light to shine of its own. Follow the sun. And so that could be why it is turning around. Turn around and greet the sun. Know where it's coming. Have your day ordered. And you can't know everything, but instead of it spinning and wearing out, just notice that, okay, I got my focus on. You may not know what all you could get done today, but don't get tripped up by what doesn't get done. Focus on what does. And it's not just the doer, because I know you. You're trying to get to the who. You're trying to get into your life. You're trying to get current and caught with the now. And it could seem really odd, and seem like keep chasing it. But I think that was part of the disturbance of what she had here. That's more like that chaser vibe, where really turn around and greet the sun. And you're like, whoa, wait. That's where the light is coming from? Yeah. So getting up earlier as opposed to staying up later. For me, that was often a sign. I don't know about you, but for me, it was often a sign of my mind being at dis-ease, unease, unrest. Either these like sensations, kind of like that thing that was coming in, trying to draw me out into that space of exhaustion, because no one's there to make you go to bed, right? And many people struggle with waking up. That's why most alarms have a snooze button, right? A snooze feature, all these backup things. They have even invented clocks that you could throw. I mean, that's one of the master hacks of all these millionaires and things. It's such a clock across the room. Don't have TVs or distractions in your room, all that kind of stuff, right? Because they're talking about don't let the lure of the night and the being staying up in that like seedy headspace. It'd be more like a weedy headspace. Know who you are. Just cap it when it gets to a certain point, cap it, do some breaths, get yourself into your bedtime routine, and then go to bed and wake up and greet the day. I'm not telling you to get up at sunrise like I do. That's not for everybody, but greet your day. And those first few days, probably even the first couple of weeks, can be really challenging, especially if life has been difficult and it seems like a never-ending loop, kind of like a Groundhog's Day, but getting up and going, okay, it's a beautiful day. I'm ready to experience life and to enjoy this life and to take in all the facets of life. Like one phrase that I would say to myself, especially in that big turn a few months ago of coming directly out of the surgery, the abuser being moved out, the stuff going on with my son, I was like, oh, thank you, life, for showing me the limitless possibilities of how this could work out. The limitless ways that this could work out, because I imagine just all this gold, like sparkle stardust rolling towards me, like glitter type things. Because I was down on the floor praying, when the police had knocked on my door to tell me that they had Baker acted my son. And I remember Spirit asking me, I see it. So maybe for you that was around May 20th, okay? Look back and see what was happening. So that would be around 3 months. And I remember telling Spirit said, will you thank me for everything? And I said yes, because I knew at that point it wasn't a demand or an ultimatum. It was how this thing works. And it was like, it's like thanking life for everything is a form of absolution that clears you out of the karma. So maybe we've been in that return spiral of slowing down the grind of where it was going. And that could have been a lot of pressure, a lot of trials and tribulations, and a lot of stress of like the mind unraveling and coming undone, going, am I crazy? Why did I believe this? Is it worth the risk? Why the heck have I done this? Is this going to get better? You know what I'm saying? Sleepless nights, that type of thing, temptations to like go this way, go that way, go back to this person, don't go back. All of that like fugmuggery, right? But it's it is slowing down and starting to make the turn. Because I was like, okay, I'm going to be out in a new space that I don't know anything about. Back with my parents that I haven't traveled to see them. They've come to see me, I think, twice. Cancer and everything. They couldn't come see me then. But it's been quite a few years. We're talking like 2016, 17, 18 people. You might have had some like bumps, serious bumps in your life. It's like recovering back before that. Back before how that shook you, or how it stole you away, or how it challenged you in grueling ways that caused you to either get stuck or stagnant or bitter or angry or broken or deeply grieving and sorrowful. Okay? But it's starting to make that turn forward. So with that moon, I was like, all right, this has been tough. You know, I'm out there at 3 o'clock this morning packing my car, and I start hearing the woo, 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 woo when I break the line of the buildings, and then the moon's hitting on me. Y'all, that's weird stuff, and you can go ahead and call it weird, because I'm calling it weird, and I'm like, why the heck do I have to know this weird stuff? Why is that really happening? I know I'm not making it up, because I've been telling myself that I was, and it only got worse. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to acknowledge that this is happening, and I'm just going to begin to ask, okay, how do we move forward? What do we do about that? All right? Just like, will you thank me for everything? And I remember telling life, yes, I will. So a few minutes later, that's all, I'm kidding, not kidding, the police knocked on the door, and they said, hey, you know, we wanted to let you know we've Baker acted him. We finally had enough calls and evidence to be able to do that, because he was found laying flat in parking lots, like just going limp and unresponsive. And then they talked to him for a minute and finally, yeah, oh, okay. So it was all just a very shocking time anyway, but I was like, okay, Spirit, I hear you. And the person that I was married to at the time stepped downstairs, was like, oh, is everything okay? Because I love to know and think that maybe he's getting arrested, or he'll be sent away for good, right? That he'll have achieved everything that he desired and worked for. And I'm like, oh, we're fine, we're good. And he went back upstairs to get back on his phone and do whatever he's doing. And I stepped outside with the officer, not knowing what was about to come next out of my mouth. And they're ones that we've had regular occurrences with ever since the person I was married to beat him half to death, you know, because they've had to watch out for him and other things. And I said, you know, y'all do know that that person lied to you about what happened that day. And I said, you know, we're not safe, and I'm making plans to leave. That was coming all out of my mouth, and I'm like, it's time. We really get to leave the Life University, the abuser and the abused, those lessons and learning and earning and conditioning, the proving and all that type of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm excited. I think I'm excited. Yes, I am excited. Okay, I give thanks. You know, I was like, I wouldn't normally be feeling like giving thanks in the midst of that, but all I knew to do was to make that choice, that there was something speaking that was so much bigger than what was right around me, okay? There was this new power, like this courage calling me forward. And since then, within a few days, I went to the police, and they were like, told me what to do. And I did that, and of course the courts approved it, and he got removed. And then I had that emergency surgery. So that all happened in the course of one day, and have been making it since. So Some of you might be through such a shocking life change. Some of you, it might just be like, tra-la-la, fa-la-la, finally on the new horizon. Maybe you're going off in a camper or whatever else to go, boho this world or something. Or maybe we're planning on leaving a job and it's finally the exit point and it's a little bit unnerving and scary and not knowing what to do. But Dragonfly Spirit is here. This is clearing out that karmic pestilence, the things that have been irritating and harassing you for a long time, friend, not for a minute. The ways of the world that just tell you can and you can't and you will and you won't and this and that and whatever. It's clearing that headspace and getting into a beautiful, bold, bright world where your mind is limitless. The possibilities are limitless. And I love it. Yellow bird shows up in this one. You ain't no yellow fella. That they talk about that as being weak. And the opposite of courage. Okay, I don't have the word right now because I'm sitting on a little bean bag out in some strange place with these big bugs flying around me going, Dragonfly Spirit, where are you? And a big one flew by, huge, y'all. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen things this size. They're like dinosaur size out here. So maybe I thought I was calling back my ancestors when they told me I was coming, but maybe it's calling back the dinosaurs. I'm joking. Okay, you could put some dinosaurs down below and be like, thumbs up. Yeah, Joy, I'm there with you. Maybe you get my goofy, quirky self. But hopefully this message helps you and gives you that resolve and that connection to yourself, to trust yourself, to love yourself. And not just like, remember, it isn't just this distraction or some momentary, oh, squirrel. No, it's not that. Matter of fact, it's moving from that into this deep penetrating focus. Badger is on the move, on a path, following his heart. So it's something that has been speaking beneath the surface for a very long time. And it's ready to pierce the atmosphere, come up with the sun, and to follow the sun. Now that could seem odd, like follow it across the sky, but no, that means prepare for its coming. Get ready to meet it and to greet it. And when we begin to get in that counterclockwise flow, that's when we leave karma. And we begin to realize that, oh, wait, I'm not going to be moved by that friction, by that whatever. I'm going to go with my flow, which is the opposite direction, right? Sometimes I even just turn around the kitchen or I do some breaths or I turn on some music to dance. Something to interrupt that verbal or mental or stigmatic signal of this world of like, you know who you are. You know you that, and you this, and you not, look at the face more than just the words. You get what I'm saying? And they're wanting to get you into this, hello. Shedding that old stuff, that reform, and getting into that golden, juicy delight out there. Look, there's even a house for you, my friend. There's provision for you there. It is all over the place. Trust your pure heart, your true heart. Okay? Get in truth with yourself. Don't do that message failure to send, the rhetorical question. Instead, just have the courage. It's in private and open up and say, okay, what does this look like for me? How does this look like for me? What about this new life? Yes, I'm still scared. Yes, I'm still angry. Yes, I'm still whatever. Like I told my spirit about getting in the car for 6 hours and driving a car that y'all is like fritzing hard and thinking, okay. I said, okay, life, I'm scared. And you know why I'm scared? I speak you forward and I thank you for my health and the well-being of my body. I thank you for my beautiful car. And I sent into my car, thank you. You're going to run so well and the air's going to be cool. We're going to make it. And that person, when I dropped it off, he was nonplussed. He was like, all right, yeah, I'll take a look. We'll see what's going on. We'll figure a few things out and I'll let you know. And I'm like, all right. So you might be surprised is what I'm trying to say. And it's those little things that count, like my car, there's hardly any paint left on the nose of the hood. And where I'm at, which isn't quite up in the hood, but it was up and I was checking the, oh my God, it buzzed me. Whatever that was, okay. When I needed to check the oil, but a neighbor stopped to talk to me for a moment. And while she was, 3 separate people pulled up at 3 separate times and said, hey, can I help you? And you could think, well, Joy, people are going to do that. No, I live in a complex. This is not like a visible place, right? And the fact that somebody stopped and helped, and you're like, of course they did. No, that has not been my experience, even when there's steam blasting out the hood and all these other things going on. So help is here for you. If you'll just remove that cynic layer, that wound, and begin to believe that you smell the bread, you bake the bread, you get to taste the bread and enjoy the bread, and invite people over for bread that you would like to have there. Okay, friend? So until next time, I love you and I wish you well. Hey, tickle those like buttons down below. Chat with me in the comments and subscribe to my channel. I love you. Bye.